Okay, so are roosters actually worth it? Being real with you, are they actually worth it? Like, yeah, they're a lot cheaper and they might actually lower the cost. But that's really the only plus that comes with moron roosters like this one. And in today's video, we are going to be diving deep into the concept of roosters. So today, we're going to be deciding if they're really worth it or not. So of course we need to discuss the elephant in the room here. And that is idiot roosters. Oh my God. You have no clue how much I hate these types of roosters. I'll name you two examples. So we used to have a couple roosters here. We only have one now. But back in 2022, before we hatched out shaving cream and rotisserie chicken, those roosters would have grown up to be excellent roosters, but we got rid of them right before then because we do not need 3 roosters in one flock. We did actually have 2 roosters before May 22nd, 2022. So we had Waldo, Snow White, don't ask, it was supposed to be a hen, man, that's why we gave him his name, and Falcon. Falcon is in the pet flock, Snow White and Waldo in the farm flock. Which, if you're wondering where that farm flock is, there are 5 of them left, and they all reside in the pet flock. There's the farm flock, if you are wondering. Oh, T-Rex, not bright, but okay, you're getting yourself back in, good job. And as for this flock, they don't know Snow White's existence. But he was a horrible rooster. He never did his job. Whenever there was a threat, he would pile under the chickens. As a matter of fact, the hens would pile on top of him. He would be hiding with the hens. Versus Waldo, who would put his life on the line to help save some of his chickens. Only thing is, he wouldn't just save one. He would save like a group. He did what a rooster would do. But then, Snow White, on the other hand, he would do nothing. And we have a more mild and more tame version of Snow White. Well, not really. Named, Useless, or should I say Falcon over here. The reason I call him useless is because of his role in this flock. Guess what? These chickens do not like him. I am not joking. Just because they follow him around does not at all mean that they like him. I just try to give him a pet. You can't pet him. And the reason is because he thinks he is the coolest chicken of them all. See, I can't pet him. Look, he's gonna just try to attack me. I'm not gonna go too far in, obviously. I can't give him a good old pet, you know? And the reason is because of how big his ego is. So, that right there is a loss for the roosters. Now, we're gonna rank them based on maintenance. Now, maintenance with roosters is okay. I mean, they typically are on their own for the most part. They're not really attaching type of chickens like the hens are, but like the roosters, not so much. Like, yeah, those roosters, they'll do their job sometimes, but that's pretty much all they have to do. You feel me? These chickens over here, some of them, I'll say, can't function without them. Some can, obviously. Actually, a lot of them probably can, to be honest. But we don't talk about that. So, yeah. We'll give them a decent score for this. I'd say ranks fairly well in maintenance. They're pretty much on their own. And there are just a number of blatant lies told about roosters. Keep in mind, this is the last clip we're going to film before we reach the decision point. Like, oh, this is the worst one I hear a lot of people talking about. You need a rooster for hens to lay eggs. As a matter of fact, if you have a rooster, your hen's eggs might actually decrease. You see? Decrease. Go down the drain. Flush down the toilet. You want to know why? Because he's adding unnecessary stress. And because of that stress there, the chickens won't really have, they'll be wasting their energy regrowing feathers, because the way roosters mate, they'll rip some back feathers right off of them. Some people, when they see my shorts, sometimes will comment why the chickens are missing some back feathers, and the reason is because of this thing right here. You see him crowing, making a lot of sound, you know? That's him right there. My generally orange feather tone over here, named Falcon. That's the reason. That's why the chickens don't usually lay as much as they do. Now, if we didn't have Falcon, we'd actually have a couple less chickens. And by a couple less, I'd probably mean 4 less by now. And you want to know why? Because on the very fateful day of July 20th, 2023, there was a big attack in the pet flock that killed like 3 chickens, 4 by the end of the day. So we'd have 5 missing. Kit Kat would be dead if it wasn't for him. Actually, probably more of the flock would be dead. But the only reason, you want to know why the only reason he attacked it, the coyote, was because of him. He was the only reason. But yeah, I went on a big side tangent there. I'm just telling the story of experience here for the added bit of that relatability. So let's reach that deciding point. Now for me personally, I'm gonna go with, it depends on who you are and where you stand. If you're like older, maybe like in your 70s and your 80s, and you're not really well fit, you're not really doing too well, I wouldn't really recommend getting just some hens, because he'll be able to outrun you. He's a bit faster than the hens. I'd say the hens would probably go about maybe 9 miles an hour, versus roosters might be able to get up to 12 or 13 miles an hour, as long as they're not Dorito over here, who will probably reach no more than 6 to 9 miles an hour, maybe 8 to 12 if he's lucky. But other than that, to be honest with you, I'd say it depends on who you're looking at. If you're like, you know, in your 20s, you're suit for it, you just bought your own land, you're getting ready to raise some chickens, and you want someone to defend them because you're not going to be around them too much, and yeah, go right ahead. Get yourself a rooster or two. But here's a one rule of thumb for any of you guys that are thinking about getting roosters. The one rule of thumb, you want to know what that one rule of thumb is? The ratio should be 10 hens to 1 rooster. And that is for safety reasons. Because the rooster mates a lot with the chickens, you know? He is just like that. There's not much you can do to stop it, other than maybe if you have an extra spare hoop coop like we do. I might try this out. Probably won't be able to get around to it because the meat chickens will be coming by the beginning of March. We'll have this hoop coop free for another week or so. Mating season begins probably by like right after their birthday on March 20th. And it really goes till the end of the summer. So it is a really long season of despair. While your chicken's feathers are the brightest and the most vibrant, your rooster will be removing them just because of his ego. So it depends on which way you look at it. Some recommended breeds are Black Copper Marins and also Rhode Island Reds if you're really up for the challenge. Same with Leghorns, Easter Eggers, Buff Orpingtons, Barred Rocks, just to name a few. If you want to name more reasons, be sure to comment them in the comments below.